Hi, I'm Justin Crosby and welcome to another episode of TellyCast. My guest this week is Mark Rivers, co-founder of Cold Glass Productions, the production company behind the mega podcast hit Dish from Waitrose. How you doing, Mark? Welcome to the show.
Very good, thank you. Thanks for inviting me. Nice way to spend a Friday afternoon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, great to have you in, and congratulations, first of all, at the recent Digital Video Awards on your three-way success for Dish from Waitrose.
Yeah, it was a great night. It's always good to go to awards nights when you win.
Yeah,
they're always fun anyway, and it was a really good night because there was loads of people there that I'd not met before. Loads of people that were in the space that we're in as well. So it's great to meet people from after party. We hung out with them afterwards. Yeah. And yeah, it was a brilliant night. We went with two of the guys from Cold Glass Productions, Robbo, who's our managing editor and manager who heads up our video. And we also took Kirsty and Murray from Waitrose. So we had a really fun night. We're on the table with the judges. So it's kind of a little bit now biting whether we were going to win or not. But when we did, it was brilliant. And it's a massive team effort. And we couldn't have all the team there. But it was a really fun night to pick up 3 awards.
Yeah, well deserved. So tell us about Cold Glass Productions then, Mark. So you're co-founder. Tell us a bit about your background and the evolution of the business.
Okay, so my background is I suppose when I left university, I went to university, didn't really know what I wanted to do. Looking back, maybe it makes sense, but going to university, I probably didn't know what I wanted to do. But when I went to university, I joined the radio station. I really loved doing that and really enjoyed it, but didn't know how to get into radio or media or anything like that. It wasn't very straightforward. But when I left, I ended up working in magazine publishing. So I was doing marketing and publishing at IPC, what was IPC Media. So I was there for a little while, learning the ropes about editorial, commercial, publishing, how that all sort of fits together. I then joined The Guardian and was there for a couple of years. And actually worked on the Ricky Gervais podcast, which is now 20 odd years old, unbelievably. But worked on that with a number of people, and that was a really interesting project to work on. And obviously, The Guardian was at the forefront of digital media at that time and doing loads of interesting stuff. So I learned a lot there. I then joined a radio station called XFM, now called Radio X, and was there for a couple of years. Very fun, really fun times. I love music, so it's great to work in music and work in a radio station, have that sort of live environment around you all the time, and I had a lot of fun with a lot of people there. And from XFM, I jumped sort of from media owner side into a branded content agency called Drum. So not The Drum, but Drum, which is part of Omnicom. So I joined there. They had a client called O2 who were doing lots of music stuff at the time. So I went to be part of that, and it was brilliant. We were doing media partnerships. We were making TV programming. Obviously, the big sponsorship with the O2 at all the academies. So a real immersive experience into the way that brands can work with entertainment and music. And as part of Drum, I met Ben, who's another founder of Cold Glass, which we'll come on to, and worked with Ben at Drum. And as part of a bigger team, we sort of pushed Drum into loads of big spaces in branded entertainment. We worked with clients like PlayStation, Boots, Sainsbury's, Hewlett-Packard, a number of others, doing loads of work in the branded entertainment space. I was there for about 5 years. The business grew loads in that time and had a lot of fun. But we were keen to start our own thing. And interestingly, when we were there, we'd done a project with a company called Something Else for Boots, and worked with someone called Sam, who we'll come on to as well. And had a really good experience with that business. And Ben and I joined the business to grow the branded entertainment part of the business and to grow the way that they work in social and in social video. And was there through a number of years as Something Else expanded into podcasts and television program making. We were shareholders in the business, and then that sort of sold to Sony Music. Was part of that journey. And at Sony Music, Ben, myself, Tom and Sam, who are all the founders of Cold Glass, we ran a bit of Sony Music called SE Creative Studio, which is where we started Dish from Waitrose. And about a year ago, actually on April the 1st, funnily enough, 2025, we started Cold Glass Productions. So it was the 4 of us, Ben, Sam, Tom and I, started the business. With other people, we've grown the business into what it is now.
So you said 2025, so it's only just a year old?
It's only just a year old, yeah.
That's extraordinary.
Yeah,
okay.
It's been amazing. It's a really exciting place to be. That we feel like the industry's in a really exciting place. We're doing projects that we're really passionate about and that we love doing, and loads of stuff to come. So yeah, it's been a fun year.
I mean, I wasn't aware of your background at all, actually, and that's really interesting, and it makes complete sense. Now you look at the success of Dish from Waitrose, and your career's obviously kind of, followed the same arc as the advent of podcasting, and how that's really changed the game in terms of entertainment consumption. I think over the last decade in particular. So that's really interesting, but as I say, it makes complete sense. How do you see the podcast industry right now positioned for the future? Because there's been so many really interesting developments, particularly around video and the popularity and the focus on video that a lot of the platforms are really focusing on now. How do you see its positioned for the future now?
I think it's in a really good place. I mean, interestingly, we don't see ourselves as a podcast business. We see ourselves as a digital entertainment business, and podcast is one of these things that's being debated now. What is it? Is it audio? Is it video? Is it both those things? Is it social media? It's kind of a term that is getting much debated. The world of digital entertainment and podcast being part of that is in an incredibly exciting place, I think. There's a number of ways that you can create shows that can exist across numbers of platforms in different genres, in different sectors, getting funding in different ways, being distributed to audiences directly, working with partners in different ways. So it feels like it's part of an entertainment sector that is really exciting, really interesting. And I think if you tackle it in the right way, there's loads of opportunity there. I think it's the way you think about it and the type of ideas that you want to make and the audiences that you want to talk to will be the ways that people can be successful. I think the danger is just thinking about it in podcasts and thinking about it purely in audio terms and thinking about what shows can you make, what entertainment properties that you can create for people, and then what are the ways that you distribute those things.
The advent of video in podcasting, I mean, it used to really just be a bit of a promotional distribution method, didn't it?
Yeah.
But now it's probably the most important part of a podcast, the visual element, or is it? Is that what's your take on that?
Well, look, I think actually, if you really break it down, the most important part of a podcast is the feeling of the podcast, the thing that it gives that audience. Now, the way that audience consumes it, or different bits of that audience, you have to cater for. We filmed Dish from Waitrose right from the start, so that was in the plan right from the start, and
right.
that was part of the business plan was. We're going to create this, we're going to create video out of this, whether it's for long form episodes or the clips that you're going to use for marketing purposes or that people are going to consume that show in. People consume podcasts via clips now as much as they do the long form. So it's absolutely integral in the identity of the show and the way that people watch it, listen to it, use it. So I think it's a massive bit, but I do still think that the important bit is the feeling that show gives you, what it's about. So whether you're listening to it and you don't watch any video, or whether you watch only the video, you're getting that same sense from the show. And we film it for YouTube. The YouTube episode of the show is actually different to the YouTube Spotify version of the show, because we know that the people who are consuming it on YouTube will watch it slightly differently to the way that someone will watch it on Spotify, so is a slightly different.
Could you just explain a little bit more about that? I mean, if you're talking about the YouTube version of the show, that you're probably thinking about somebody leaning back and watching it on the TV at home, is that right? Whereas in Spotify is probably more about the handset.
It's definitely so the handset, when someone goes from audio to video, we want to make sure that experience is seamless, and you have to supply one thing. Yeah. So if you do listening to it and then you watch and listen to it, those things work together as a production, but also as a consumption of that thing. But when you sit down on your telly and you flick on your YouTube app, the way that you consume that thing is different to that experience that I've just talked about. So it's got to be started differently, it's got to be trailed differently, it's got to have moments in the middle that feel different to that experience. So we're producing it in that way to make sure that the experience is fit for purpose where someone's consuming it.
And what about the audio then? Is that again a different edit, or is that just the YouTube TV version, the audio?
It's the Spotify. It's the Spotify version.
Right, it's the Spotify.
So that's the Spotify and video and audio version are one and the same. Yeah. The YouTube version is different.
So when you're producing a show that is both audio and video, what are there compromises that you've got to make for both experiences? when you're producing it. So, for example, I mean, Dish from Waitrose is a really visual show. Great guests and the the look of the food and everything else is really important, of course. But when you're listening to that, I mean, do you make compromises for the listener experience as well as the viewer experience, or do you just make the best show that you can?
It's the latter, yeah. So we don't make compromises in that. Like, it's got to be an experience from an audio perspective that makes absolute sense to that. There's a lot of people out there who just listen. Yeah. That's the way they consume podcasts. So when they listen to it, they've got to have an experience that doesn't need them to go and watch something. So we edit it in that way to make sure that happens. Yeah. But the video experience of it is optimal as well. So there's lots of moments within it where you're seeing them eat their food, or we're getting close-ups of Ange cooking. Yeah. That stuff augments the visual experience. Yes. And so that if someone's watching it, they're not feeling like they're missing out either. There can't be compromise. I think that's the thing for us that's like at the heart of what we're doing with that show, but at the heart of what we really believe for shows that we go on to make, and what's important to us as a business is that quality, a premium experience wherever you're consuming it, whatever your device you're consuming it on is paramount. Now, it's not easy to do it like that.
Yeah.
Like when we set out to do it and when we continue to do it, it's not the easy way to go about doing it, but we feel it's important. It feels like it's made a difference in the success of the show, but it's also the way that we're going to keep making things. So the new show that we can talk about in a bit, we'll make that in the same way, that the visual experience is absolutely designed to be a brilliant visual experience and produced in that way, and the audio one as well. So that's the way that we're going about it.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the success of Dish from Waitrose. How many series are you in now? Do you produce in series, or how?
We don't know. We've actually so in February we've gone always on. So we're every week. I think probably the numbers like 8 or 9 series up until that point. So we were doing series and having little season breaks during that series. In fact, yesterday we celebrated the birthday of our fourth year. So 4 years ago yesterday we released our first ever episode. So it's been going for 4 years now.
Right.
So it's a really long-term thing, an established thing in people's lives, and we've been making it a long time and love making it. So yeah, it's 4 years old.
And without speaking for Waitrose too much, obviously, because they're a client of yours, but what has been their feedback? I mean, obviously they've seen the success of it; it's been great. But how has it changed the way that they view themselves almost as an entertainment brand now, or being involved and integral into an entertainment brand? What's been the journey with them over the past 4 years?
Yeah, so I mean, they're brilliant clients. I've got to say that. I mean, I've sort of said, worked on lots of brand entertainment work, and worked with lots of people, and they are really, really brilliant clients to go on the journey with. When we first pitched it to them, we did pitch it as a business plan, effectively. Yeah. So we didn't say we're going to go and make you a podcast. We pitched it as a 3-year business plan, and that involves doing a number of things in terms of the way that we approach the strategy, the production, the measurement, a live show, etc. And they bought into that. They had the sort of the strength of character, strength of mind, strength of strategy to think, okay, we've got to be in this long term for this to be a thing that is going to be successful. And that's incredibly important. And it's difficult for brands to make those decisions. They've got targets to hit. They're selling products day in, day out. Marketing has got to prove its worth.
There's a lot of trust there, right?
There's a lot of trust, and absolutely massive hats off for the way that they've gone about it. And I think it's one of those things now where, the success of it hopefully bears out the sort of trust and belief that they had in the idea originally. And in terms of results, like this week we've had 1 billion views across all the content that we've produced for Dish from Waitrose, which is amazing. As Nick, we released a little video, and Nick actually said, "If only I got £1 for every time someone watched something." But yeah, so there's a lot of views. It feels like it's part of culture in the way that people recognise it, know it, buy into it every day. Like, so you listen to it, watch it, consume it. In terms of results, it's really delivered for them. The audience are much more likely to go into Waitrose and buy product. It's positioning them within culture in a way that really augments a bigger position that they've got around food lovers. Yeah. And as a brand, they are doing more entertainment. You can see within their Christmas advertising, they have Joe Wilkinson and Keira Knightley, that they are a brand now that has absolutely embraced the way that entertainment and entertainment marketing can deliver for them. And so, yeah, we feel like really, really grateful of the relationship we have with them, because they've believed in the way that we think things should be done. And I think over time we've created a case study and a bit of work that's not only like really fun to do and delivering an audience, but actually delivering like really, really good marketing and business results back to them. So yeah, it's been really good fun.
And the talent that you get on that show is amazing. I mean, you know, in terms of guests, and it's you know, really A-list talent, which is, you know, I guess must have been the original at the out. I mean, how did that develop in terms of from the first episode to like the 7th series, for example? I mean, that must have been a growth curve as well.
Yeah, it's definitely a journey. Like we always knew that guests and the quality of guests are really important for the success of the show, and the way that we get guests and the way that we treat guests and the sort of care that we give guests is a massive bit of why we think the show is successful and why people continue to come on it. And obviously they then get the promotional value from being on the show. So when we have Dave Grohl on, it's because he knows that he's speaking to an audience that are important to him, and he can talk about what he's about and talk about his music and all those things that are connected to him. And so yeah, our first guests were Hannah Waddingham from Ted Lasso. So we started strong.
Yeah.
And then we've gone on a journey where as the profile and the brand has grown, more and more people want to come on the show. Yeah. And the interesting thing now is the format points of the show that exist means that we know that guests are almost preparing their bits to do for the fast food quiz, or they know that their food likes and dislikes are going to be talked about, so they think about, what am I going to say there, how's this going to reflect
favourite crisps and
favourite crisps, exactly. Yeah. And you know, we had Emilia Clarke on the show recently from House of Dragons from Game of Thrones, and she loved the show for a start, which was amazing. She listened and watched it, so she had a real sense of it. And there was a bit of nervousness, like I'm going to do the fast food quiz, like how am I going to do on this? But also I think it was that thing of like, I want to show a really good version of myself on this show. I want to show what I'm about as a person and what I'm into, and food's really important to her. So it's gone on this journey now where the people who are coming on the show understand what it's about, they're prepared for it, they want to do well and show a good version of themselves. So it becomes this sort of self-perpetuating
Feels
success.
A little bit like stars in the medium-priced cars or whatever from Top Gear, right?
Yeah.
You know, that's the standard of talent that you have, and people are just really engaged with it and fans of the show, which is a really nice place to be. Isn't it?
It's brilliant, and it's a massive jigsaw getting everyone in the right place when we need to. And Sam, who heads up all that for us, you know, it's a continual, unbelievably hard job that she does day in day out with Ben on it.
Especially as it's always on now.
It's always on, and we've got really big names, and with that comes, you know, challenges. These are Hollywood names. These are really big global stars. Yeah. And you have to act in a certain way to get these people on, and to make sure that they have a brilliant experience and they get what they want from it. But it's a privilege. Like when you're in the room and these names come in, you're sort of like, wow, I'm going to sort of spend an hour in the company of Dave Grohl, or I'm going to spend the hour in the company of Louis Theroux or Emilia Clarke, and it's amazing to sort of see them go about the way they talk about their career, how intelligent they are, how funny they are, and it's brilliant. It's really great.
And I think that the absolute key to this is the sort of it's really the holy grail that anybody working in branded entertainment is looking for, is to create a genuinely entertaining show that the brand doesn't get in the way of. You know, the brand is an integral part of it, in fact, you know, and if anything, it elevates it and has a real relevance, because nobody really wants to be sold to all the time, and I think that's what you've really achieved with Dish from Waitrose. So that's so what's the future plans for the show? I mean, I came along to your show at the Royal Opera House, a live show, which was amazing. So more live shows on the way, do you think?
Yeah, we've got live shows in the plan for definite. I guess going back to guests, like the guests that are coming on the show are just going to get bigger and bigger, and we want to create sort of special versions of the show so that it replicates that. We're sort of increasing our ambition around the production of the show as well. So for example, recently we had Louis Theroux on recently, and we created like a mini sort of Louis Theroux style documentary using his voiceover.
Oh yes.
So
that's
and,
right.
and we're doing lots of thinking around that and how we can do different bits like that with the guests that are coming on. Yeah. So increasing the sort of, almost like when you see American talk shows have sort of special bits with guests, we're doing more of that. So we're increasing the production around that.
Yeah.
And we're looking at all the ways that we can expand the show as you would, from live to merchandise to other ways that people consume it. So it is one of those things now where we've got a property that you can do exciting entertainment style things with by thinking like an entertainment brand and not like an advertising brand. I think that's the key.
I think what's really exciting about the whole podcasting space in particular now is that you've got businesses like Global and Bauer and radio brands, and obviously your background is mainly radio, but and then podcasting. But now we're getting into a time when it's video led. A lot of content now is video led, and you're now just as much as a TV production company as you are a radio production company. I mean, is that a surprise to you?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely say we're a digital entertainment production company, and that the output that we make encompasses video, audio, social. That's what we are. We're a business that is equally at home making original programming as making the digital marketing assets that support that programming, and that stuff has been video for a long time. Social is absolutely part of the way that we've grown as a group of people and as the business that we are, and that is obviously predominantly video and image led. So video, we're audio, we're social, but it's the entertainment bit that sits at the heart of that is where we'll kind of continue to push ourselves.
What about any new shows, any other shows other than Dish from Waitrose that you mentioned earlier on? You're about to launch a new one. Yeah,
we are. Yeah, so we're launching a new show at the start of July. It's called Outsiding, and it's going to be presented by the journalist Caitlin Moran, the Times journalist Caitlin Moran, and author, and the TV presenter and gardener extraordinaire Adam Frost, who's on Gardener's World. And it's a show all about the joys of being outside. So nature, being in the fresh air, gardening, obviously, fishing, cold water swims, all the stuff that encompasses. It's gonna be like that, and it's gonna be a show that is all about the joy of that. And we've got an expert in Adam, so the audience is going to be able to learn from him. Got a massive enthusiast in Caitlin who loves gardening, but also just loves the fresh air and nature and wildlife. And there are going to be guests on every week as well. So it's going to be a really well-rounded show. Our first guest, actually, who we recorded with last week, is Bob Mortimer.
Right.
So he's our first guest, and he's
Are you going fishing with Bob there?
We haven't gone fishing with Bob, no, but we've done a bit of gardening. And the interesting thing is Caitlin's about to embark on a gardening project in her garden. And so that's going to inform some of the show. So there's going to be lots of fun, inspiration, lots of stuff where people will be able to learn and apply that themselves to their lives, their gardens. And it will be a show that you consume in all the different ways that you'd want to consume it. So audio, there'll be long form video. Obviously there'll be lots of clips that we'll create. Subscription is going to be a big part of the show as well.
Well, I was going to ask you, So just to dip into the business model a little bit. So it's self-funded essentially.
Self-funded, yeah.
But yeah, just expand a little bit on the business model and how that's going to work.
Yeah, so it's it's a Cold Glass original. There's going to be commercial partners involved from an advertising perspective or a brand funding perspective. And then there's going to be things like, as you can imagine, merchandise and product, I think will come. Subscription will be a big part of it from the heart. So we're working with Substack for our subscription. And I think that's going to be really interesting. Both Caitlin and Adam, but particularly Caitlin, are amazing writers.
Yeah.
And so the consumption of the show through written content, I think, is going to be really interesting through Substack.
Yeah, I haven't seen that before. That's really interesting development. So it's going to be supplementary content to the show, which is in text form essentially for subscribers.
It'll be text, but with Substack you can also watch video.
Yeah,
you can consume audio as well.
Yeah.
They're really expanding the way that you can use that platform. It's an amazing platform.
Yeah,
and a really great space for the type of content that we want to make and the subject that we're talking about. So there will be written stuff, but there'll also be video as well.
There'll be exclusive video and audio on Substack.
Yeah, so someone who, if we're talking about a particular thing you could do in your garden, or you can go dig a little bit deeper with, pardon the pun, you can go on Substack and you can enjoy that. There can be bonus content. There's a load of stuff that will be able to add to the experience of people who want to get more involved, and you can do things like live Q&As. There's loads of stuff available that fits with the personalities that we've got involved, and also the subject matter that we've got involved. We're gonna start it, and it's gonna grow over time. Again, another gardening pun. But we're really excited. We feel like it's a great platform for us to deliver that sort of material as part of the experience of the show.
Yeah, really interesting. So how do you see podcasting developing over the next couple of years then? What do you expect in terms of innovations or the market to change over the next couple of years? Because it just seems to be now such a growth area, such a really exciting growth area. So, what do you expect to see in terms of industry developments over the next couple of years?
I think it is in a really exciting, interesting place. I think the way that we look at it is, there's loads of opportunity to create shows. There's no shortage of podcasts out there. Someone said to me recently, like, do we need another podcast? And I think the reality is we don't need another bad podcast. That's for sure. But it's like anything. It's like good TV shows. It's like good movies, good music. If you produce good stuff, then absolutely we need
the right audience.
For the right audience, and I think that's the thing. I think there's loads of exciting opportunity. The thing that we spend a lot of time thinking about is how do you make something that is reflective of what we want to do and the type of work that we want to make, and is there a market and opportunity for that market, for that sort of work? And I think it's brilliant. Podcasting is brilliant because you can create something and you can get it out there really, really quickly. That's also sometimes almost the challenge to it, because it means that people can just put loads of stuff out. And the thing that we feel really important that will, I think, drive the market on, but drive digital entertainment on, is that people are producing quality. I think that's the really, really critical thing. And then all the other stuff that comes from it will come. And, you look at the likes of Restless Football have got their Netflix show, I think, launched, I don't know when this goes out, but would have launched, the start of July in time for the World Cup starting.
Right, yeah.
I saw it on Netflix yesterday. They've got a big studio out in New York, and incredible, like, hats off. That's an amazing journey, that show, and obviously business has been on. And I think it's indicative of the thing of coming up with ideas that have got audiences there for them, but then really delivering on quality and making sure that the experience of whatever you're talking about, whatever your show you're creating, is of high premium quality. That's the thing that we think about a lot.
Yeah, and ultimately there is the opportunity, both with Dish from Waitrose and your new show as well, that they could end up on a streamer, which is, and we've seen, there's real appetite for streamers looking at podcasts now as a new form of content for them anyway, as a new type of content. Is that
yeah, absolutely.
Key in your thinking?
I think it's interesting. I think the way that the streamers are operating around podcasts is interesting. The Restless Football, for example, the word podcast is not anywhere near the Restless Football on Netflix. When you go onto it, they're not using that word. It's just a show there. But obviously they all are launching podcasts as well, and there's the Pete Davidson show that's recently launched, which they have branded a podcast. And I think it goes back to that thing I talked about at the start. That term can kind of, I think, tear people into pieces a little bit, trying to work out what it is. And ultimately for us, it's going back to that thing of going, what's the feeling we want to give people? What's the subject matter that we want to be in? What's the passion point that we want to be in? Who are we talking to? And then that thing will come from it. And yeah, absolutely. I think it's important to build something where you have a direct relationship with an audience. That's really important, I think, not only for the success of the show commercially, but I think that's also what the streamers then become interested in, because you've built an audience, you've got people who love what you do, and also that means you own that show when you go into that relationship. Yeah. But I think we're definitely open to the way that we could expand Dish from Waitrose. We're definitely interested in the way that we can expand outside in once it grows and starts and becomes a thing. But I think what's important is that you start with that. What is that show? What is it? Who is it for? how are we delivering for them week on, week out with really highly crafted work, and all that stuff will come from that. I think you have to understand when you build that show how you're going to distribute it, and understanding the way the ecosystem works, so that when you're releasing clips, how are those clips sort of interacting with each other and getting people back to the show and then going back to the clip. All of that stuff has to be built in, and the way that we think about distribution is as much as the way we think about creative planning. Those things are sort of happening at the same time. It's a really big part of the process that we've got, the way our people sit together and work together. It's not like come up with a show, make a load of stuff, what are the clips going to be? It's going to be like, how do we make stuff that is going to create the clips, and then how are those clips going to feed back into the show? How are we going to make clips for Nick and Angela and for the talent that are going to fly on their socials? Are those going to be different from the ones we put on our Dish channel? So it's a whole ecosystem that's got to work together, that's got to be designed at the start, that's got to be iterated, that's got to learn from the feedback that you're getting and the data you're getting, and then continually growing from there. So it's a really massive opportunity for podcast and digital entertainment, but it is about thinking about all those things at once.
Well, Mark, now it's time for your story of the week, hero of the week, and get in the bin. So we're going to go through those in turn. So first of all, tell us about what's your story of the week?
Yeah, so at the time of recording, my story is a sports story, and it's an interesting time because the World Cup is literally kicking off, which is amazing. Cricket season started, which is brilliant, but it's actually an American sport that really caught my eye. It's the NBA team, the New York Knicks, who are in the final of the NBA's championships for the first time since 1973. They're now 3-1 up in the series of 7, and they won on Thursday or a couple of days ago with the biggest turnover. They were behind by 29 points, and it's the biggest turnover in points that's ever happened in the finals. So the sort of sporting story is amazing, but I think actually the entertainment story around it is just as incredible. And the people who are at this game, watching the game of basketball, were Taylor Swift, Timothy Chalamet, Jerry Seinfeld, Larry David.
I saw Larry David going mad on the sidelines. Yeah,
John McEnroe. It's a massive entertainment story at the same time as the sporting story. Donald Trump was there on Monday and got booed. So there's politics involved. The clothes that those stars are wearing on the front row of the basketball game are turning into fashion items that people are spending loads of money on. So it's this story that is sports, absolutely an amazing sporting story, but it's turned into entertainment, which is turning into social. It's part of fashion, it's part of politics, and it is one of those things where it's kind of an amazing story that's touching on loads of different bits of culture, and then it's being just hammered throughout digital media and digital entertainment in all the different ways you can. So I just think it's a really interesting one, and it's one of those things that you're starting to see more in sport throughout. The way that all of those worlds intersect is really interesting.
Yeah, in particular, I mean, I think, Premier League clubs, I think the majority now owned by American businesses. Many of those are invested in by, golfers and sports stars. I support Leeds. Will Ferrell's one of the shareholders in Leeds now. And obviously we've seen the Wrexham story as well. So, yeah, really interesting the way that sports and entertainment is seeming to blend and come together.
And I think it'll only get more so. I think that's the way things are happening. You can see the way that these worlds are so interconnected, and sport is still just an amazing entertainment theatre. The sporting story there is incredible, and that's why it's creating all these other stories at the same time. So I thought it was really cool.
Drama built into it.
Yeah.
So what about your hero of the week?
So my hero of the week, because we did record with him last week, and he is a hero to me, but also I think a national hero, is Bob Mortimer. I think, and for a few reasons actually. Firstly, as I say, I think he is a national hero. As much as he doesn't really like being called that, he's been part of entertainment and British culture for a long time now.
Yeah.
Everything from Vic and Bob, Shooting Stars, through to Would I Lie to You. Last One Laughing is amazing. Gone Fishing, which I think has taken him into a whole new space. Yeah. Even through the kind of madder stuff that he's done, like Catterick or Vic and Bob's Big Night Out. He's really well loved, and I think, but I think the thing that's really interesting about him as well is that there's a real high bar of quality throughout all that work. He's really actually never really done a dud. There's been stuff that maybe is not commercially as successful, but throughout all that career, everything is kind of brilliant.
Yeah.
And you've kind of got to go to Bob Mortimer, like, hats off for 30 years in entertainment and really having that body of work is super impressive. And the amazing thing when we did record with him, and he's been on Dish as well, and he was brilliant on Dish, and he was brilliant on outside in the show when he's on the show. But when he's off mic, just the loveliest man ever. Really, really kind, really, really up for it, really lovely to everyone in the crew. He's worked with our director before for years, Dave, who also edits Dish. And they've got a great relationship, and it was a lovely moment when Dave's directing Bob again, and Bob is just like, not only an amazing body of work, but also a really nice bloke as well. So yeah, he'd be my hero of the week.
That's great. Well, that's so good to hear. I love stories like that when your heroes are actually really nice guys as well.
Yeah.
And, just as nice off screen. That's great. And who or what are you telling to get in the bin?
So this was difficult. The first thing I wanted to put in the bin, but I don't feel like I can put it in the bin, but I did want to put in the bin LinkedIn for a little while. LinkedIn is like obviously it's part of all our lives, and it's an important part.
Is that AI driven LinkedIn post that you see, or LinkedIn?
Yeah, I think there's just loads of it. A lot of LinkedIn is something where you kind of don't, you don't want to be, but because it is sort of part of our lives, and we have to be part of LinkedIn. I don't think you can actually go in the bin. I'd have to go in the bin and then have to get it out again and do a post. So I couldn't put LinkedIn. But I think connected to it, I think I saw an article about it recently, and it's obviously a thing we talk about a lot, but doom scrolling. I think I'm going to put that in the bin. I saw an article last week where it said the amount of time that people are spending on the phone. I know we talk about this a lot. The amount of time people are spending on their phones is massive. The amount of unintentional time people are spending on their phones is really, really big. And it's an interesting one because we all do it. And look, we're all part of putting stuff on people's phones. That's what we're here and what we make. But it is one of those things, again, for us as a business, where hopefully we put stuff on people's phones that it's not part of that doom scroll. Because I'd love that to go in the bin, and love for people to spend when they're on their phones. It's part of life, but and also there's loads of good things that you can watch, listen, and do. Is that what companies and people who are working in this space are doing, is putting stuff on those phones that is valuable and joyful and fun and interesting and useful. The big thing that we talk a lot about at Cold Glass is that there's a lot of serious stuff happening in the world, and there's a lot of serious content that covers that stuff, and that's important. But for us, it's just as important to create stuff that's escapism and a bit of joy and a bit of fun, and that is hopefully what happens with Dish from Waitrose, and it's absolutely what we want to do with Outsiding and all the projects that we go forward on, is that we're creating stuff that embodies that feeling, embodies that sentiment, and hopefully just gives a little bit within the doom scroll that everyone has to do at times.
I'm really guilty of it. I find myself, I'm just like, literally, where's half an hour gone? I've just been there watching, and more it's AI slop that's getting deeper and deeper into the feed, which is terrible. But doom scrolling,
get it in the bin.
Okay, Mark, thank you so much for coming on TellyCast. Been great to speak to you. Congratulations again about all your success. Good luck with Outsiding as well. Can't wait to see that. And thanks for coming on TellyCast.
Thank you. Cheers.
Well, that's about it for this week's TellyCast. Thanks to Mark Rivers from Cold Glass Productions for coming on the show. TellyCast was produced by Spirit Studios and recorded in London. We'll be back with another show next week. Until then, stay safe.